Lunch and Learn is an MFG radio network production brought to you by GIE Media's Manufacturing Group. We highlight some of the latest innovations in manufacturing and design to help you gain insights to the newest products and technologies in the medical, aerospace, defense, and electric vehicle manufacturing industries to keep you ahead of the competition. And welcome to our next edition of the Manufacturing Lunch and Learn, as we are once again going to be joined by SMW Autoblok, and that means we'll be joined by President and CEO Larry Robbins. Now, SMW Autoblok, for those who don't know, is a work holding company focused on achieving customer goals and expectations with the highest quality products and services. SMW Autoblok combines stock standard product with a highly trained sales, service, and engineering team to consistently provide the ideal work holding solutions for customers across a wide variety of industries. But without any further ado, the man himself, Larry Robbins, thank you so much, sir, once again for joining us, and always appreciate your time and expertise.
Jake, it's always a pleasure. Always love doing GIE webinars and speaking to your audience. I always feel like it gives us the opportunity to give a little bit back to the industry that's made us who we are. Without any delay, I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. For those of you who've seen some of these presentations before, SMW Autoblok is the worldwide leader in manufacturing of work holding equipment for turning, grinding, and milling machines. I know that's a pretty lofty claim, and some of the other lofty claims we make is we offer the largest selection of standard work holding in the industry, bar none. We offer more standard models of different chucks that a lot of our competition makes as specials, or even when it comes to stationary work holding, our magnetic chucks, or even our automation solutions. Everything we make has the ability to be customized or adapted to your customer or your application specific needs. I'm sure Jake Kaufman is sick of hearing me say it, but as in any other work holding, the number one thing you want to look for is flexibility. It's easy to purchase a piece of equipment for a specific job. You're 5 years down the line, job changes, and all of a sudden you realize that either the equipment you bought or the tooling you bought is no longer applicable. Well, by buying a product that has a standard base component, I can now take that product that was applied specifically to a customer application and give you the ability to customize it to your next application. But before I go any further, I'll give you a little bit of history about SMW Autoblok. SMW Autoblok is a privately owned company. We've been in business since the early 40s. Our current owner's father, Domenico Bronzino, started our company in 1942. We were a job shop in Torino, Italy, and our largest customer and still one of the largest employees in the city of Turin is Fiat. And Fiat came to us back during or at the beginning of World War II and said, hey, we have all these machines with these chucks from all over the world, and especially American chucks. Can you reverse engineer some of the components? With the war starting, it's harder to get components. So he said, sure. And he made components for these chucks. He reversed engineered it. And lo and behold, it became SMW Autoblok Corporation eventually. We started life as Autoblok SPA. Autoblok was, until the mid-60s, was specifically an Italian-based company and started to expand into foreign markets. Because France, the proximity of France, Germany, England is so close to Italy, especially to Torino. If you look at where we are located, we're north of Italy. So across the mountains in one direction is France, and across the mountains in the other direction is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So it made sense to have our first expansions be on the European continent. And then it went to the UK. And then eventually in 1981, we established a facility in the United States as a direct company. So over the years, we've purchased some of our bigger competitors. One of our largest competitors that we purchased was a company called the SMW Span System GmbH, which was a German manufacturer. And once we did that, we had completed our work holding offering. We were still just a very large chuck manufacturing company, but it now brought into our fold not only standard hydraulic chucks, but now pneumatic front actuated pneumatic chucks, steady rest, self-centering hydraulic steady rests, and quick draw change chucks. Well, over the years, we've continued to purchase other companies. Our first acquisition, like I said, was SMW Advanced Systems in 1993. Um, then later on, we bought a company called Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto at one point was the largest specialty chuck manufacturer in Europe. They are now our live tooling manufacturer or our driven tool manufacturer, along with static work holding, our static tool holding, and some specialty and standard work holding products. OML was our stationary work holding company. Is the company now we now market all our 5-axis vices and some more 0-point technology through. Tobler happens to be the company that invented expanding mandrel, grease arbor, and gear and spline mandrel technology. Dr. Tobler is the person that invented ID clamping as far as how we know it today. And it's morphed now into the point where, Tobler got over the years sold to other companies. And about 5 years ago, we purchased the assets of Tobler, and now we manufacture the entire product line. And our last acquisition was a company called Tecnomagnete. For those of you that have used magnets in the past, Tecnomagnete is the company that created the electromagnet. They've developed the technology and they continue to improve and innovate. And last but not least, our German subsidiary created another company in the last few years called SMW Electronics. SMW Electronics gives us the ability now to focus on automation, electronic sensing components for work holding and other assembly and automation situations. But you'll see a little bit more of a history of our company and some of the expansions we've gone through over the years. I'm not going to bore you with the overview, just give you an idea. The thing we try to drive home when we talk about having all these subsidiaries all over the world is, first of all, if you buy a product in the United States and you have locations around the world, we have service in every industrialized country in the world. If we don't have service in that nation, we have service within proximity and we can fly a serviceman in. So if you buy a product in the United States, it ends up going to somewhere in Asia, we have the ability to service it all over the world. Our major markets are off-highway or ag and tech off-highway equipment, aerospace and space, automotive, industrial equipment, which we refer to as job shops in our industry, and oil and gas. Those are our 5 largest. Now automation and electronics has entered, so those have added another component to our offering. Some of the core offerings that we give or focus that we put on new product development or existing product development is a fewfold. First of all, modularity and flexibility. You'll hear me say the word flexible many times throughout this presentation. It's very important when you're looking at work holding, have the utmost flexibility, whether it be in your rotating work holding, your stationary work holding, ID, OD clamping, whatever the technology may be. We always offer high accuracy and repeatability. I say to people all the time, when you look at our product, we offer a very high quality, very high priced product, but we stand behind it with service, reliability, and high quality. Constant grip force. As many of our chucks as we can, we put either in an oil bath or a contained grease environment. You'll see a lot of our new product development and our existing product development has what we call Proofline as a tagline. Proofline signifies a fully hermetically sealed work holding product, and we offer that throughout our product line, as you'll see as I go through. Energy savings. As you all know, the cost of creating hydraulic energy, pneumatic power, or anything that requires electric, we try to always look at the environmental impact that our products have, and we try to be as close to net carbon zero as we can. Our aim for all of our setups is setup time at 0, where you're setting up offline, so you're not using valuable production time or valuable machine time. For setup, you're setting up outside of the machine tool, so your machine is constantly running. As I said, Proofline chucks offer low maintenance because they're fully sealed. And eMotion, I'll get into a little further. eMotion refers to our Industry 4.0 offering of the ability to power and monitor work holding mechatronically and electronically. We actually have one headquarters. It's in Torino, Italy. We have 2 large manufacturing facilities. One is in Italy, throughout Italy, and another section of our manufacturing is throughout Germany. We also have manufacturing in the UK, France, China, India, and the United States. About our product and our philosophy, availability and cost. Because we have such an extensive standardized product line, our inventories are very large. In the United States alone, we stock close to $10.5 million worth of product. Worldwide, we have hundreds of millions of dollars of product in stock and always have our standard product offering available. Service, as I've said, we offer service and support worldwide for our products. experience. We added it up once. Our company has like 13,000 years of experience. It just means we have a lot of old people. But what that tells you is we have reliability and we have the ability to give you an educated application, and we can apply our work holding through a extensive network of worldwide of engineers, applications people, and product design. Also quality. When you offer a high price product, you have to offer the highest quality and the highest accuracies. And we stand behind our product um, with the standpoint from the standpoint of we offer flexibility. We try to make as many of our products automatable as possible, and we try to seal as many of our products. And this is kind of our tagline that we work from, are the keywords that define the future of SMW Autoblok Corporation. Basically, the Proofline chucks give you a lot of advantages. I'm not going to spend a lot of time and energy on it, but basically they offer longer life because of the way our chucks are made, because of the sealing technology, because of the way we harden our products. Our products last up to 3 to 5 times longer than most of our competition. Um, Safety factors, we use a much higher safety factor than our competition, so we err on the side of safety. So a lot of our components are sized according to a safety factor, not a size limitation. We always look to optimize your processes and your operations. The highest accuracies, we look to increase your productivity by offering quick changeover and the ability to offer setup reduction wherever possible and cycle reduction wherever possible. We try to be as eco-friendly as possible, reduce your setup time and your downtime, and offer products that are usable in a hostile environment, whether it be high pressure coolant, forging and casting scale, dry machining, abrasive powders, grinding, grease, dust, diluting, coolants, whatever it may be. Because of the technology we use, our products last for much longer than our competitors. Now to get into the meat of what we do. We offer different product categories. First of all is our rotating portfolio. It's where our company was born and started. Um, just to give you an idea, we're the largest manufacturer in the world of quick jaw change chucks by 4 to 1, hydraulic cylinders by about 10 to 12 to 1, hydraulic self-centering steady rests. We invented the technology, and at the same time, we continue to improve and innovate. And we're the largest manufacturer of those components, along with front-end pneumatic chucks, shaft chucks, hydraulic self-centering chucks, specialty offered chucks. So as I started to tell you originally, we offer a very broad-based standard product line, which allows you now to take a standard product and apply special touching features. And when I say touching features, I mean jaws, locators, components, monitoring components to monitor part presence, part position, um, grip force. So we have the ability to go from as simple as a standard 3-jaw closed center or open center chuck, all the way up to a specialized chuck that we can apply top tooling to do very specialized applications, and whether it be in piston manufacturing, brake rotor manufacturing, components for the space industry, from components down to a few thousandths of an inch, all the way up to parts that are meters, thousands of meters in diameter, or hundreds of meters in diameter, up to our standard product goes from a 140 millimeter diameter all the way up to a 2.5 meter off the shelf. As you'll see, our standard product offering encompasses not only some manual chucks and jaw boxes or boring jaws, but a closed center, offering a closed center power chucks, different variations of quick jaw change power chucks. You'll notice our original KNCS chuck is the premier and our flagship in our quick change product line. But we offer many other types of quick jaw change chucks too. We offer our System RR, which is not only applicable to chucks, it's applicable to devices and some specialty work holding. We make a fully sealed quick jaw change chuck. We make the only fully sealed quick jaw change chuck in the world. We make the only fully sealed through center chuck in the world. So everything we do is with progress, innovation, and the future in mind. All of these products are monitorable with electronic technology through what we call hybrid technology, and I'll explain that more as we move forward. But as you see, we offer from standard sliding jaw chucks to pull down style chucks to 2+2 chucks to 2+2+2 chucks. All these chucks allow is for different applications, for different operations, to allow you to maintain flexibility in your setups and your work holding, to have adaptability for the future. The other thing we try to preach to you is with your work holding vendor or any vendor for that fact, make sure that they have the variety you need to give you choices, that you're not limited by um, specific parts of a product line. We're infamous for recommending our competitors. When we think something's not in our wheelhouse and we have a competitor we think that does a better job at something, we're never afraid to recommend our competition because we always like to be the consultative sales force, not the people that just try to sell you a product. As I said, as you look through, there's so many different ways to skin a cat. Our grinding products, we have offer a full line of grinding products, expanding manual technology, collet chuck technology, cylinders, whether it be open or closed center, high-low chucking, double acting cylinders, single acting cylinders, self-contained pneumatic chucks, stationary chucks, all sorts of chuck switching systems, from our premier CCS system to an automatable TMS or TWS system. We make a full portfolio of stationary work holding products, from a fully manual system all the way up to a fully electronic or digit style system. We also offer multiple clamping systems, from manual vices all the way up to from pneumatic spring to close, air to open, to long stroking vices, to hydraulic to close to open, to fully electric work holding. We also offer a full line of aerospace application and application style hydraulic dedicated fixturing, as well as manual dedicated fixturing. You'll see that our stationary portfolio is like our turning portfolio. It's very extensive. We offer many, many different kinds of work holding under one roof. From our 0-point systems, we make actually 4 different kinds of 0-point systems. We make our APS, which is our spring to close, air to open pneumatic system. Our WPS, which is our manual version of our APS system. A TDM system, which is more inclined towards mold and die and gives you adjustable angle setups for location for clamping. And our fully automatable zero-act system, which is electrically actuated. Some very specialty features that our systems offer, I'll get into a little more specifically as we move forward. But you'll see, like every other product offering, we offer every conceivable combination of different styles of work holding. You can go in and see people doing 7 of the same parts in 7 different shops, but they process them 7 totally different ways. First of all, it's dependent on the equipment they're using, the technology that they have available to them, and their work holding solution and the tooling that they've chosen. So with that being in mind, you may see 7 different applications for the same part, held 7 different ways, manufactured 7 different ways. No one way may be better than the other. It's just what works best for your application. And that's why I keep driving home the idea of flexibility and the large product offering that we give. We also offer some very specialized features. One of them is our Grip technology. Grip with our system is basically a self-dimpling jaw system that allows us to clamp on a part, hold it on a 3-millimeter ledge, 3.5-millimeter ledge, and grip on your part and hold it just like you're doing full force clamping on the entire part, holding on, like I said, a 3.5-millimeter ledge. We make a full line of hydraulic and pneumatic fixtures, manual specialty fixtures, a full portfolio of driven tooling. For years, our driven tooling product portfolio was imported through Von Ruden Manufacturing. We now sell this in the United States through SMW Autoblok and with cooperation through Von Ruden as our technical and service support. You'll see that we have a complete line of not only static radial tools, boring bar holders. We make angular, fixed angle, adjustable angle, double offset, sawing and hobbing, shaft support components, and turret mountable steady rest as standard components. As I said, we are also the owner of technology from Tobler. Again, just for review, Tobler is very high precision, expanding manual technology for finishing operations, generally in grinding, turning, milling, gear cutting, splining. Tobler is the company that invented not only the expanding manual and grease arbor technology, but the sliding jaw manual technology. You'll see product that looks familiar. Again, these people are the ones that created the technology. They also make our TMS and our TWS automatable systems. We also make special application manuals and collet chucks for any style part in any application. As I told you, we purchased the assets of Tecnomagnete a few years ago. The products we sell in the United States are Quad Mill or Quad Extra. That's our machine-based magnetic work holding for milling, turning, and grinding. We also sell light lifting equipment in the United States, heavy lifting, quick change mold and die things, and stamping and mold machine tooling is sold through our sister company, Tecnomagnete in Sterling Heights, Michigan, as well as Staubli is the sole source for our injection mold quick change tooling in all over the world. And just gives you some examples of what magnets would be used for. You'd be shocked at how we can incorporate a magnet into a turning application. We make hybrid chucks where we incorporate turning technology with a magnet built into a turning piece of turning equipment, just to give you the utmost flexibility. Again, just to give you an overview, worldwide service, manufacturing in Europe and the United States and all over the world. We have offices everywhere in the world, whether it be through our directly owned offices or external outside of the European Union offices and other or agents around the world. And with that being said, that just gives you a basic overview of who SMW Autoblok is as a company and what we do best. And if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands. I don't know if there's any questions in the
Looks like we got a few coming in, Larry. So
okay.
looks like okay. Dan wants to know when should I make the move from manual clamping to intelligent or automated?
Dan, that depends on, first of all, your operation and the open-mindedness of your operators and your management. First of all, what you have to realize when you're looking at any kind of automated work holding, there's an investment up front. And I always say, from a management standpoint, if you're looking at this technology going, hey, this could solve a lot of problems, I'm going to give you a friendly word of advice. Get a buy-in from the shop floor first. Because anytime, and it's like buying a new piece of equipment, you think you're doing your people a favor. You show up with this piece of equipment, they're like, well, we weren't even consulted. I always emphasize get the buy-in from the people that have to use it, because when they realize the advantages they're going to see, your success is going to be exponentially much easier to see. And you're also going to see that there's a vested interest in the success, because they're going to realize right away it's not replacing people like automation. The first question we get is, well, we realize there's a shortage of people in the United States for manufacturing and all over the world, but you're replacing human beings. No, we're putting human beings into a position now where they're in a job that requires more skills and gives them a different set of skills to offer their employer, where now they're doing automation on the fly. They're designing shop floor changeovers. For a guy who used to set up a vise on a machine, is now programming and setting up a piece of automated equipment that now can run lights out by itself. The other beauty is, Jake, now envision, instead of using hydraulic power, and Dan, the biggest difference is instead of turning a handle or pushing a foot pedal, now it's all through interactions with your machine control. Everything's controllable. Envision that any piece of work holding equipment now, each movement is an independent NC axis. So I have ultimate control. I can tell you what my grip force is. I can tell you jaw position. I can control my open and closing, so I'm not wasting cycle time. There's so many advantages, but what I'm going to say again is look at everything. There's a lot of different manufacturers making different product. We feel like we have the better mousetrap. We're the only company in the world right now that offers the ability to wirelessly power work holding automation components through inductive coupling technology. So you have an air gap that powers your work holding and your automation without any hydraulics or connecting components. Mm-hmm. Everything can rotate. Your gripper's 360 degrees. Work holding has unlimited movement. Envision, Jake, you're doing forging castings, and I'm using an iPhone. I know that's not a forging or casting, but from your first forging to your last forging, your forging die might wear. Well, now I can probe a part, and I'm not just probing position. I may find a casting that's worn. I probe it at 273 degrees north, 273 degrees northeast. I'm off by 17 thousandths. As long as I'm within the adjustable limitations of my work holding component or the base unit that I'm adjusting, it'll adjust at 273 degrees to north. And I've now taken what would have been a bad part or part that has an offset feature that might have required a secondary operation to be done in one and done. So where you're going to see the advantages, Dan, is through increased productivity and the ability now to have full and total control. And envision now, instead of having to go back and go, oh, where's the setup sheet from the last job? I now just push a button, bring up a report, and go, here's what I was using. Restore all my work holding components, and I'm up and running in seconds instead of hours.
Awesome. Looks like we got time for one more question. And Rick says he's thinking about automating his shop. How important is it to standardize the work holding between the machines?
I would say most of our platforms are standardized anyhow. So let me give you a friendly word of advice. I always tell people a few things. If you already have work holding and somebody comes in with a system and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to use what you have," I say we were smart enough when we designed, as are most of our competitors. Our systems interchange with most others across the entire spectrum. We'd be happy to explain to you in different depth, or if you had an application specific question, we could explain to you if you already have one of our competitor systems, how you can integrate their system into ours. We just offer you some advantages to utilize their system within ours. We offer some very specialty features that none of our competition offers. But again, everyone has their features and benefits. We try to sell on our strengths, not our competition's weaknesses. And we always say that none of us would be in business if we didn't all make good products, and we all do make good products. So we support each other wholeheartedly, and I work with a bunch of very friendly competitors. So anybody's product will be applicable, and feel free to reach out. I always say the one thing I use to judge my vendors when I'm buying something new, we have a rule at our company. I don't want you to buy something and then have to figure out it doesn't work for you before you pay for it. We're willing to put a product in your shop and let you prove it out before you spend any money. I would rather have a satisfied customer out of the box that knows what's predictable and has predictable expectations than to go, "Oh, this is not going to cover my spectrum. This isn't going to work. And now I've already spent, $50,000. That's a hard pill to swallow. I would rather have you say, "Hey, this is great, but it's not going to cover this application." Okay, no problem at all.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again to SMW Autoblok for sponsoring today's Manufacturing Lunch and Learn. And obviously, a massive thank you to Larry Robbins, the president and CEO of SMW Autoblok. Once again, always appreciate your time and expertise, Larry. And I know that we'll be talking to you soon.
Same, Jake. Hey, Jake, thank you so much. And thanks to GIE for supporting this great industry we're all part of, man. Have a great day. Be safe, stay healthy. Thank you, everyone.
Sounds good. We'll see you, Larry.
Bye now. Bye.
You can listen to all of our episodes of Manufacturing Matters and Lunch and Learn podcast from the MFG Radio Network on Spotify, Apple Music, and on our websites, todaysmedicaldevelopments.com, aerospacemanufacturinganddesign.com, defenseandmunitions.com, and evdesignandmanufacturing.com.